When you're comping, you need to play the chords, of course, but you also need to improvise and you need to play some interesting riffs while you're interacting with the band. In this video, I'm going to go over a step-by-step plan that you can use to construct a set of chord voicings that help you do that. This works for any song, but I'm going to do this on Autumn Leaves. A lot of the time, we all have the idea that when we're practicing, we need to learn something completely new. But it's probably much more efficient to take a lot of the stuff that we already know and then try to connect it in new ways and be more flexible with the things that we're already playing, because we're relying on something that we already have an idea about what it sounds like and it's in our fingers. So that's also the approach that I'm taking here. A lot of the different things that I'm gonna cover you already know, but we're just gonna put it all together in a way that you're maybe not used to, and that's gonna give you a lot of flexibility when you want to improvise with the chord voicings. My name is Jens Larsen. Learn jazz, make music. This was the first 8 bars of Autumn Leaves, where I was using shell voicings. And the shell voicings I was using, you probably already know, because it's just root and then 7 third, or in the other version of them, the root and then the 3rd and the 7th. And that's a really useful way to just play some basic chords. For the purpose of this lesson, it makes sense to play them without the root, and that means that we have this. Now we have these 2-note voicings, and that's really practical because they're easier to add notes on top of, and that's gonna help us play some melodies and play some interesting riffs while we're comping. If we wanna add some more options in terms of melody to our 2-note voicing here, we can add another string. So I'm just gonna use the next string as well. So that means that I have this melody note, which is an E flat for the C minor, and then I can add the F and also the G. And that means I have 3 melody notes. I have E flat, F, and G. For the F7 I can do the same thing, but I actually get one more note because I also have the A, so I have for B flat, the D, and then here I'm using the F and the G. This is not an exact science, so I'm not going to try to get all the notes in the scale. If the note is easy to play and if it fits with the chord, I'm going to use it, and otherwise I'm just going to leave it out. The way you look for this is also going to depend on what you like to play and how you like to play chords. So maybe you want to do the exercise and figure out, okay, I actually want to have this note in there, or I don't want to have this note in there. Then you just do that. It's about being practical, and it's about finding the solutions that work for you. So for B flat major 7 we have these notes. And for E flat, so here I'm also using the same 3 notes. For A half diminished, for D7, and then for the G minor 6. And if you come through the 8 bars using these melody notes, then you can get something like this. Notice that I'm starting with a shell voicing with 2 notes, and then when I start adding notes, I'm actually starting to use these triad voicings. So for the C minor, this is a sus triad, this is a major triad. So I'm connecting my shell voicings and also my triad voicings. And if we add another string, then we get some drop 2 voicings. For the C minor 7, then I have these voicings. So here I'm again starting with the shell voicing, then adding a string to get the triad voicings. Here I'm leaving out this one, which is the A melody, because I don't really need this voicing. And then I have this one in there as well. Then I move up here where we have drop 2 voicings. And then for the F7, starting with the shell again. So now I'm including the A, but leaving out the B flat because I don't really need to play this voicing. And then again up to a drop 2 voicing. For the B flat major 7. So here, when I get to the high E string first, I want to have this melody note, the A, so that's doubling the 7th. And the easiest way to do that is just to keep these two fingers here and then just play that here, and then only play 3 notes but skip 1 string. And then I go into a drop 2 voicing, and also drop 2 voicing for the last one. E flat major 7. So first I'm just playing the shell, adding the B string notes, so the F and the G. Moving up to here I have a sharp 11, and then those are actually drop 2 voicings of G minor that I'm using for E flat major 7. A half diminished. And D7. So here I'm kind of changing along the way, so first the shell, then these triad based voicings, moving up to this diminished drop 2 voicing, and then the D7 flat 13. And finally we have the G minor 6. So the last one's a little bit of a stretch. First starting with the shell voicing, then moving to triad based voicing, and then the drop 2 voicings. And of course you can also put this to use on the song. An example of that would sound like this. From here you can start developing the way that you comp in terms of the melodies and the riffs and the rhythms that you're using. And you can really take this quite far. I think the important thing here is to try to log in with the drummer and listen to the soloist you're playing behind. For the rest, you might want to consider checking out some more different voicings, and you can do that in this video where I'm going over 9 different types of chord voicings that work well for jazz.